Shalom, shalom. First off, giving all honor and praises to the Most High and to His Son Yahushua. It's Captain Benaniyah coming to you with another first day of the week breakdown. Um, let's say sorry, brothers and sisters, for the late class. I know we have to move into our new building. Give the Lord a hand for that. Giving all honor and praises to the Most High for that. Lord blessed us with a new building, so we was busy putting in the work, moving and transitioning from the building, man. It's a big thing in Israel, man. All praise. We had a smaller building. Now the Most High God blessed us with a bigger building, so bringing more brothers and sisters into the congregation and into the fold. These things are heavy. We say we want brothers and sisters to wake up more and more to this truth. So we give all honor and praises to those things, man. The name of today's class is New Building and Q&A. Kind of touch on that since it's a little bit late. And just kind of open up with a few precepts. Shalom, shalom, Brother Ray. How you doing now? Open up with a few precepts. We kind of started off. Let's go to the book of Psalms 127. Shalom, shalom. Brother Uriah 12 Stone. Shalom, shalom. Mr. Barakai, Sister Keo, how y'all doing, family? Then we just saw each other with shalom, shalom again. So we'll kind of touch on that new building. And this is one of the main things brothers and sisters must understand in this truth. Shalom, shalom, Brother Trey, how you doing, Psalms 120, 127 and verse 1. Because except the Most High build it, man, these things gonna come to naught, man. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 127 and verse 1. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that built it. Meaning when we put in work when it comes to the congregation, if we're laboring in vain, those things are unnecessary, are in vain. Shalom, Brother Daniels and Sister Mary Houston, how y'all doing? Family up there in Houston. They say we just no running late, new building, putting in work for the new building. All praise to the Most High for that. So I'm gonna read this again. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 127 and verse 1. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that built it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman wake it, but in vain. And that's one thing we got to make sure that we understand in this walk. If you're trying to build up a congregation, shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters, Yahweh, Bon Maspa, Sister Odetta, Sister Quinn, how y'all doing? Except the Most High God is building these things, unless you in the spirit, when you're trying to set up congregations, guess what? These things are coming to naught. When brothers and sisters are doing these things for vainglory, just to get brothers and sisters to gather unto them so they can be like the head Israelite in charge. No, those things are in vain. But when you are doing this thing in sincerity and genuinely and with a humbleness and meekness of heart, the Most High God will bless those things, man. As you can see, a smaller building for 3 years, the Most High God has been blessing us more and more and more and more. Like we tell brothers, I remember we started off in Captain Jerubbaal's apartment, man. Then we took it to the recreation center. Then the Most High God blessed us with a small building. Now he blessed us with a bigger building. Except we do those things by the Most High, these things are all but in vain, man. And we must understand that as a nation of people. When it comes to this truth, okay, sis. Can y'all hear me now? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me better. Yeah, Sister Camilla Cole, we do not associate at all with 4th of July. Now, I should have put that on there. All praise to the Most High. Shalom, Brother Jerome Parsons, yeah. And I should have put that on the chat too, a rebuke of July the 4th, because we don't celebrate those things at all. We don't. I ain't gonna even tell y'all why I'm laughing, man. That damn Captain Yari, man. I tell brothers and sisters put a 1 in the chat. He put 11 in the chat, man. I'll pray he can hear me double good then, man. Shalom, shalom, Brother Yazalaya. How you doing, Ak? We ain't seen you in a minute, man. Bruce got to come by and check out the new building, man. All praise. We can't give enough praises and thanks to the Most High. So we see that. Let's go to the book of Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 4. Because we continue to give praises to the Most High for the blessings that he's showing us, allowing more brothers and sisters to come into the fold, man. That's what this truth is all about, man. Waking brothers and sisters up so we can get the hell up out of here. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 4. For every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is God. So when brothers are getting these things, Most High God is adding brothers and sisters to the congregation, giving brothers and sisters new buildings. Who is it coming from? It's not coming from brothers and sisters, because I guarantee you, though, that thing happened at the drop of a dime, man. And guess what? The Most High God opened our eyes. Hey, brothers jumped on it. All praises to the Most High for that. Let me read this again. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 4. For every house is builded by some man. So you got men that's doing the labor. But let's see where ultimately those blessings come from. And we never can lose sight of that, man. It says, for every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is God. So we know that, guess what? The Most High God is what? At the forefront of all the blessings that we get. And we can never lose sight of these things, man. Like we say, by not celebrating the 4th of July. What the hell do we have to do with celebrating 4th of July? You know, that's not our, like we say, custom. That's not our tradition. We were in slavery during those times, man. So we see these things, man. Like we're saying, Capone, Yazallah, Conwatters, I see me, the Addy. I'm going to check it out. Yeah, most definitely. So, yeah, should we celebrate none of these things, man? None at all, man. Let me get, let's go to the book of Ezra. Because, like we say, the Most High God, that's why it's so very important for brothers and sisters to do what? Gather together. If brothers and sisters are not gathering together, guess what? How can you have a strong foundation, man? Like you say, when you put common minds and bodies and spirits together, man, under the will of the Most High God, is nothing that, guess what, brothers and sisters and the Israelites cannot accomplish as a nation, man. With the Most High God bagging us up, man, it's nothing that we can't do, man. Hold that, man. Let me get this. Let me get what I pulled at Capt. Let's go to the book of Philippians, man. Christians' favorite precepts, man. Let's get this, man. This is the book of Philippians chapter 4 and verse 13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. So we got to make sure that we apply that in that same aspect. Christians are always saying that they would. You can't keep all the law. Well, hey, brother, I thought you could do all things through Christ that strengthens you. So if you can do all things through Christ, surely keeping the laws is one of them, man. Those things are a part of this walk, man. And a lot of times, guess what? They're just making excuses not to do what? Not to keep the Most High God's commandments. Let's go to the book of Ezra, chapter 4. The book of Ezra, chapter 4 and verse 1. We'll start from the top. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel, then they came to Jerubbaal and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Ahashadon, king of Ashur, which brought us up hither. So we see where what? The other nations always try to do what? Try to come along with us, or either they're always trying to do what? Stop and hindering us in this walk. Just like we had the damn Arabians, so-called Ishmael, man. Literally trying to go up on our rent, but guess what? The Most High God had a plan for that thing, man. Now, like you say, like Bruce say, now you'll see that place deteriorate. Because we was the first ones over there. Then guess what? The Most High God started blessing them through us. We see these things constantly, man. Let's see how many blessings they're going to get for dealing with us wickedly, man. See how the Most High God already blessed us with a building. Now, guess what? We up out of there in one day. So guess what? We cannot praise and give all honor and glory to the Most High God enough for those things, man. But like we tell brothers and sisters, this is just only the beginning. The work still don't stop. And we're going to cover those things too, because guess what? There's more things that we have to do. You know, getting the building beautified, ready for the Most High God Sabbath class. You know, we have to get these things also in order too. So it's more work to be done. It says, verse 2 from the top. Then they came to Jerubbaal and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your God as you do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Aharshaddon, king of Ashur, which brought us up thither. But Jerubbaal and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel. So we see that when we come together, man, it's nothing that Israelites cannot accomplish, brothers and sisters. But we got to remember one thing. We have to be coming up under the Most High and his son Yahushua. That's the order, man. That's what being on one accord is all about. When you got brothers that's not trying to gather, they're separating themselves, being emotional. Got sisters that don't want to take order. They separate themselves. Guess what? You don't see things happen as if you would have it when you're a part of a congregation. Because for one, that's not keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments, man. So we see these things. You want to be on point. Shalom, shalom. Officer Yaakov, how you doing, daughter of Zion? Shalom to you brothers and sisters that's just now tuning in. It says, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, had commanded us. So we see these things, man. Without the Most High God, none of these things can be accomplished, brothers and sisters, man. And we got to always remember that, man. By putting the Most High God first, man, hey, like we say, we can do all things through Christ, man. You know, we're going to keep shooting them shots at it then, man. Because they drive brothers crazy when they're out there saying crazy stuff like that, man. Let's go to the book of Haggai. Now you say you don't never even heard a book of Haggai even mentioned in the Christian church, man. You don't even hear this book mentioned at all, man. That's why the Israelites, guess what? All praise to the Most High. He's waking us back up. We're reading the Bible from what? From Genesis to Revelations to get the understanding, man. We're not just standing in the book of Matthew. We're not just standing in the book of Luke. We're not just standing in what they call the Gospels of the New Testament. No, Christ comes in what? In the volume of the book, man. Let's go to the book of Haggai, chapter 1 and verse, we'll start at verse 3. Start at verse 2. This is the book of Haggai, chapter 1 and verse 2. Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, This people say, the time is not come that the time that the Lord's house should be built. So the Most High God put it on the spirit of Haggai to do what? Inspire and wake the people up to do what? Rebuild the temple during the time when it was destroyed after the Babylonian captivity. Just letting you know also that Haggai was in the what? Persian and Mede captivity. You got Haggai prophesying this time. You got Ezra. You got Nehemiah prophesying in these times. You had many great prophets prophesying in the same time or contemporaries with each other. Verse 2 again from the top. Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, This people say, the time is not come. The time that the Lord's house should be built. Meaning what? Our people make excuses to do the Lord's work. The Lord was commanding them to do what? Get off your behinds and rebuild the temple. That's why we always bring these classes out for brothers and sisters to do what? To ignite the spirit of the Most High God, to let them know that what? This truth is not just about us moving the building. No, now we got to take it to the next level. We have to paint. We have to do the floors. Sisters have to do their bathrooms. Brothers doing their bathrooms. We have to decorate these things and get it what? Ready for the Most High God's high holy days, man. Guess what? The Most High God blessed us with the building. Now what are we going to do, man? It's always more work to be done in this truth. And a lot of times brothers and sisters don't want to be a part of congregations because what? They don't want to do that work, man. They don't want to do the work, man. We see that. This is us literally understanding the fundamentals of building a nation. You start on a smaller scale. Once you start and understand and master those things on a smaller scale, it's easy and more comfortable for you to do it on a grander scale, man. That's why these things are very, very pivotal, man. Shalom, Tashaka O'Kelly. Shalom, shalom. Grace and peace to you. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Like we say, you got any questions, put them in the chat. Just going over a few scriptures, giving praise to the Most High God for the building. But letting brothers and sisters that, guess what? Hey, it's another level to it. It says, verse 4, Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your select houses, and this house lay waste? Meaning what? The prophets were getting on the people because they were building up their houses during that time. But the Lord's house still wasn't built. Shalom, shalom, sister Nakuk, about Israel. How you doing, sis? The Lord's house still wasn't built, man. And that's for brothers and sisters on a deeper level, even for you playing in this truth about what? Half-assing, not keeping the commandments, man. Because that first temple is going into your body. Then it takes it to the next level, going into the building of the Most High God. But that first temple that you need to be trying to get in order is your body, man. No, took shot. Oakley. Is this a true Q&A? Can I ask a question? Yeah, that's we always open the Q&A. We always do Q&As. It says, the chart, my Lord, what is the tribe not included? Dine-In. That's a good question, sis. You know, the tribe of Dan is not included because the Most High God stopped them from being an official tribe. And let's get there right quick. Hold this precept in Haggai. We're going to come back. Let's go to the book of Amos real quick. That's a good question because we always get a lot of questions about Dan. Let's see what the Most High God stopped them. Oh, Shalom, Salakia, brother. Sorry for that, brother. The Most High God stopped them from being an official tribe. Yeah, that's right. He does bless those that keep his commandments. This is the book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 14. Make sure you write this down to Shaka O'Kelly, brother O'Shaka. This is the book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 14. They that swear by the sin of Samaria. The sin of Samaria was going into idolatry. No, when you're reading the book of, we're going to get that as well. Let's stay here real quick, brother. We'll touch on that as well. This is the book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 14. They that swear by the sin of Samaria and say, thy God, O Dan, liveth, and the manner of Bathsheba liveth, even they shall fall, meaning the tribe of Dan shall fall as a tribe and never rise up again. So you see the judgment that the Most High God put on the tribe of Dan for being wicked amongst their brethren. Meaning what? When they got their inheritance of land, they didn't want to get off the ships to help their brothers get their allotted lands. Shalom, shalom, sister Day. How you girls doing? Shalom, shalom, sis. Shalom, brothers and sisters that are tuning in, even on Facebook as well. So now we see that, guess what? Because of the sin of Samaria, meaning what? The northern tribe always went off into idolatry. That was one of the main things that our northern tribe brothers always did. But we see that, guess what? The Most High God really judged the tribe of Dan and stopped them from being fall as a tribe. I'm going to read this again from the top. This is the book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 14. They that swear by the sin of Samaria and say, thy God, O Dan, liveth, and the manner of Bathsheba liveth, even they shall fall and never rise up again. So we see that it was judgment placed on Dan. Let's go to the book of Revelation. Because I know if they asked if he had a gate. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 7 and verse 9. Meaning what? It gets no New Testament or later in the prophetic scriptures than the book of Revelations. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 7 and verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed. And there were sealed of 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Of the tribe of Judah, there were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph, then you have the tribe of Benjamin. So you don't see nowhere in there where Dan has a tribe. Now we know that the tribe of Dan still exists because of what? When we read in the book of Ecclesiastes, I'm going to get another precept on that too. But even when we see in the 12 tribes, the gates. Let me see what do I want. So we see even in Revelation, let's get that in Ecclesiastes. We know that they're around because there's what? There's no end of all the people. So I know a lot of times, even like how we explain that the tribe of Dan could be dispersed amongst the other tribes, but to have their only tribe is, you won't see that in the scriptures. Yeah, no disrespect. I understand what you're saying, but when you read it, the Bible don't say their gates. I know brothers may go to Ezekiel chapter 47, but I know a lot of times we see that as that temple being built back in the time of the Persian and Medes, because we know that the scriptures harmonize. You know, we know at that time it was being built up, but we literally read with precepts. Now, even to Shaka, what did you say about the precept that I just read to you in the book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 14? Let me know what you say about that. And then even a precept, another witness I just read in the with the 144,000. Now, clearly they would have been included in that gate. Remember, even at the end of the book, in the book of Revelation, surely they would have been there. So that's why you want to make sure that you harmonize. What you mean by that? You rock with your Lord. What you mean by that? Explain to me. Make it simple. Huh? Shalom, shalom, brother Al Martinez. Because I know brothers may pull that in the book of Ezekiel, but we know, like we said, they're not totally exterminated. So kind of clarify what you mean on that, brother. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. Is this what I want? That just slipped my thought. No end of all the people. Yeah, brother, put that in the just slipped my dang on thought real quick. Let me see. One of my precept princes, put that in the chat. Prince, Kings, put that mug in the chat. Let me see. Oh, okay. All praise. I'm trying to find the one. Somebody put that in the chat for me. My thought, I lost my thought on that thing. No end of all the people. What's in the book of Ecclesiastes? Let me see. Try to find that right quick, brothers and sisters. I'm talking about that precept doesn't escape me that quick, man. Burn with me, brothers and sisters. Four and 16. I don't know what I was thinking about. I see it right here, but I didn't have it highlighted good enough. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 16. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit. So we see that the Most High God has not exterminated no races that he has created in the Bible. No, not yet. Thanks, Ak, for putting it in there. So we know that the tribe of Dan is around, but to have their official tribes listed amongst the 12 tribes, we see where the Most High God stopped them from being that. You know, Sister Day said, I have a question. Why most camps goes against being a non-profit organization? Again says, I have a question. Most camps go against being a non. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's their own decisions, sis, and people kind of differ on those things. Now, brothers can do it either. I see it both ways, sis. You know, it's really not a big deal to us, you know, because I know sometimes brothers may get mad at brothers that may have 501c3s, but brothers and sisters may need to get a better understanding of that. When you get a 501c3, it stops you from being tax exempt. I know a lot of times people say, well, if you have a 501c3, you can't teach the way that you want to. We know certain camps that do have it, and they still teach according to the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? It's even in the scriptures. I know, let me go up to you to Shaki Oak Kelly. Is the chart all darker skin? Now, we know all 12 tribes originally were dark skinned. And I know a lot of times with brothers that are Negro only really don't understand the scriptures, brother. But you got to understand the northern tribe and really all of Israel mixed amongst all nations of people. You understand me, brother? So meaning what? You got Native Americans that mixed with Israelites, that mixed with Japanese, that mixed with Chinese. So we see Israelites come from a light shade to a darker shade. You know, that's when we tell brothers and sisters the truth is not about color, brothers and sisters. I don't know how many times we have to tell brothers and sisters that, because we were scattered amongst all nations. So naturally, brothers and sisters did what? Mixed amongst all nations. Prime example, we always give this example. Blake Griffin, his son, if you see him, he got blonde hair and blue eyes. But he would be from the tribe of Judah. He's an Israelite. Then you have Mayor de Blasio's son. Thick nose, big afro. He's an Edomite according to the Bible. So if you see him out there on the street, you'll be welcoming him in, which really is an Edomite. Then you'll be shunning what? Drake's son. So that's why we tell brothers and sisters, this is not about color. Let me get this right quick. Let's go to the book of John. That's why Christ warned us about these things, man. Let's see what. That's why it's very important to judge righteous judgment, brothers and sisters, man. We cannot tell brothers and sisters how pivotal those things are. Let me get this in Hosea right quick to kind of home in my point. I want to look for that. Showing you that, guess what? Ephraim is a cake not turned. And I'm going to tell you, certain brothers and sisters that are not built up in the truth, they don't understand this, man. Did you understand that? My answer, Sister Adelia? Did you understand my answer to that question, sis? I want to make sure that we cover all these things. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 7 and verse 8. Ephraim had mixed himself among the nation, among the people. Salakia. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Ephraim is signifying the northern tribe. It says he mixed himself among the people. What people? All the other nations. Meaning what? That's why so-called Mexican and Native Americans have distinct looks, because they mixed amongst all the other nations. Even when they was over here in 1492, Christopher killing Columbus, the Edomites, the Spaniards, when they came over here, they did what? Mixed even more with them. That's why their complexion did what? Lighten up. But guess what? Most of them are still Israelites. That's why you cannot go by what a person on the outside look, man. It says Ephraim had mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. So when you have a cake, the Most High God is giving us a similitude on the northern tribe. At the top of a cake, it's what? It's light. But at the bottom of the cake is what? Very dark. So Ephraim comes from a very light to a very dark. So the Most High God said, you are what your father is. And brothers and sisters must believe that thing, man. Brothers and sisters must believe that. Sister Adelia, did you understand the question? I mean, my answer, sis. No, it don't. It don't make them change, because I think, for instance, IUIC, I think have a 501c3, if I'm not mistaken. Now, brothers can check on that. But we see that what? Those brothers over there still teach according to the Bible. Now, I have to double check, but years ago, I'm pretty sure that they did have a 501c3. I could be mistaken. But if they do, they still teach according to the Bible. Yes, Israel is a mixed cake. Because remember, brother Tazaka, they mixed amongst all the other nations, huh? You know, every time we went into captivity, we did what? We mixed amongst the other nations. Shalom, shalom, mama, how you doing? Glad to see you on here, mom. But yeah, we see that they mixed amongst all the nations. And even like what Sister Day just put in, try the spirit by the spirit. That's exactly right. Hosea 7 and 8, like how we just brought out. Brother Enoch, how you doing, Doc? Even Brother Al Martinez putting great precepts in there. Let's get there too, what Ak is putting in there. Let's go to the book of Psalms 106. We're going to get other precepts as well, showing you how they mixed amongst the other nations. Because I know a lot of times people think that so-called Mexican Americans and Native Americans are not our people because they have a diverse look. Sometimes they can look like Japanese, Chinese people. They can look like East Indian people. They can look like Ishmaelites. They have a distinct look because they mixed amongst all those other nations. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 106 and verse 34. And it reads, they did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them. This is going into the history when we were commanded to destroy all the African nations. The Hittites, the Girgasites, the Amorites, all these are Hamitic nations or African nations. Contrary to what we've been taught, the so-called Negroes here in America, we are not African. We are Shemitic, we're not Hamitic, even though we have the same color skin. Just because you have a certain skin tone don't mean that you're that race of people. Remember, all nations originally were dark-skinned people. Verse 34 from the top, they did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. So we always see where the Most High God mingled us or scattered us among the nations, and then we did what? Mingled amongst the other nations. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah. It's another precept that brothers and sisters must write down concerning Gad, why they have that look. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49 and verse 1, concerning the Amorites. Now, the Amorites today will be the so-called Japanese. And we know that they are distinct with the slanting of the eyes. And you may see some Native Americans that may have that look. Here, you may see some Mexican Americans that may have the slanting of the eyes. It says, concerning the Amorites, thus saith the Lord, had Israel no sons? Had he no heir? Why then doth their king inherit Gad, and his people dwell in his cities? He's showing us that the Amorites did what? Inherited Gad, meaning what? They mixed among the Gadites. It says, and his people dwelled in his cities, meaning what? They dwelt amongst each other. So a lot of times when you dwell amongst other nations, what do our people do? We mix amongst the other nations. Yeah, go ahead. Ask it. Any question is on subject. If brothers have contentions, I'm gonna tell you, brother Tazak, I don't take questions personally, because I know brothers have different understanding of the scriptures. It's our job just to go through what the scriptures say, whether brothers believe our understanding or not. Shalom, brother Chris Clark. How you doing? That's right. 1 John chapter 4, verse 1, those are all great precepts. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 is literally showing you how they sailed over here to the Americas, where never mankind dwelt. Then when they came over here, years later, Christopher Columbus came over here, destroyed our people, and mixed amongst them. That's right. Even what Brother Al Martinez put in. 1 Ezra chapter 9, verse 7. Ezra rose up and said unto them, ye have transgressed the law in marrying strange wives. So a lot of times people don't know. A lot of times our people have this preconceived notion on how they think that the Most High God is. A lot of times they think since God created all races that he loves all races. But you can clearly read in the Bible where he don't. And I know a lot of times certain brothers and sisters struggle with that, because I thought that growing up until I actually read it in the Bible, and then wonder why certain pastors only read certain scriptures. You know, because guess what? They're controlling our people. They don't want this real truth to come out. So we see where, guess what? Our people did mixed amongst the other people. That's right. Your brother Chris put it in the chat. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. What do you mean? Here in America first? Make it more specific. Yeah, just put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. I'll read it and answer it. It says, so you agree what we're here first. What do you mean? Kind of specify. Here on the planet Earth first, or here in the Americas first? That's right. Brother put another great precept. Tobit chapter 4, verse 12. These are all great precepts. showing that, guess what? We mixed amongst the other nations. So Israelites have a diverse look. Some of us come with thick noses. Some of us come with thin lips, thick lips, woolly hair, straight hair. It's not a one-off on how we should look. Originally, yeah, yes. When you read the book of 2nd Ezra, guess what? The Most High God gave the northern tribe this side of the land first. And then it was taken because they started to go off into idolatry. Terror Israelites have been mixing way before this lady captivity. That's exactly right. What brother put in there. We have been mixing amongst the other nations way before. Shalom, shalom, brother Asher. How you doing, Ak? Shalom, Ak. Enoch, you us. Is it true that Israel means those who wrestle with God? Let's get what Israel means. Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 32. Let's see what the name Israel means. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 32 and verse 28. And it reads, and he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed. So the word Israel means the prince that has power with God. That's what being an Israelite means. So the Most High God named us that after Jacob did wrestle with the angel, and he wouldn't give up until he got a blessing. Let's jump up. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 32 and verse 24. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint. So you have this man, which really is an angel, doing what? Wrestling with Jacob. And Jacob, guess what? Our forefather wasn't a punk, man. Strong as hell. He was giving it to him. And he literally had to touch it, the hollow of his thigh, and guess what? Wrestled his thigh, pushed his thigh out of joint, basically. But guess what? Our forefathers wouldn't still give up. Many like what we do. We go through many adversities, many hardships, but we're doing what? We're continually fighting. And these are similitudes on how brothers and sisters need to keep what? Fighting to keep God's commandments and his truth. Like we say, brothers and sisters have to always look at the scriptures on the spiritual side and the deeper message that the Most High God is trying to convey to us. Verse 25, and when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. So this angel like, man, let me go. I'm talking about our forefather Jacob, probably trying to put him in a figure four, in the headlock. The angel like, man, let me go. Verse 26, and he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed. So our name literally means what? Power with God. That's what we're able, when we're keeping the commandments, we pray to the Most High God, that the Most High God what? Gives us things according to his will. We ain't talking about you praying for S550 or a 10-bedroom mansion that you don't need. No, we talking about praying unselfish prayers for your nation. Praying that the Most High God saves us out of this captivity. Praying to the Most High God that you what? Stay in keeping his commandments, man. Yeah, we know Darren Vitamin. Yeah, we already know. You know, the sisters just come in here to bring confusion. Never bring any precepts. Now, what is that? Oh, from folk? No, I don't personally know him. I've heard of him, you know, so I don't personally know that brother. So you understand that, Enoch, you with us? Shalom, shalom, Israel, Israel. How you doing, huh? So Darren Vitamin, put your breakdown in there. Yeah, we do. We rebuke you. But put your breakdown. We'd love to see your breakdown. Let us see if the scriptures is lining up with what you were saying. Let's go back to the book of Nahum. Because like we said, we're talking about the building that the Most High God has blessed us with, man. All praise to the Most High. Like we say, we cannot give honor and praises to the Most High enough for those things, man. You know, damn near triple the space. You know, all praises, man, and honor and glory go to the Most High for 1,000,000 generations, man. You know, like we say, brothers and sisters got to learn to start counting their blessings, and not when the Most High God is literally giving you things. You got to learn to praise the Most High God doing what? Doing the good and the bad, man. A lot of times, brothers and sisters only want to praise the Most High God when he's doing something for him, when he put it on Esau's spirit to give you a $2 raise. Oh, thank you, Lord. But you never want to pray to the Most High God when you sick on your bed. No, you still give all honor and glory to the Most High, just like Job did. Let's get that right quick, man. That's the spirit. Get the Most High God all honor and praises in good situations and bad situations. Because we know ultimately all situations come from him. This is the book of Job, chapter 2 and verse 9. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. So he had to get on his wife, because guess what? The Most High God was putting trials and tribulations on Job. And she like, curse God and die. Job had to correct her, man. Like many a times we have to do with our wives in this truth, because we know that they are the weaker vessel. We see these things. Hey, no. Most High God blesses us with good. Now that we got some bad, you thinking I'm going to turn my back on the Most High? Man, you got to be out your damn mind. Because if you understood the scriptures, we see that the Most High God continually to do what? Bring trials and tribulations on us to do what? To strengthen us in his walk. So you should never see those things as a bad thing, man. You see it as a way to get what? Stronger in the truth, man. I know, Brother Benaniyah, I know you're going to start cutting them up. Like we say, we ready to hear your breakdown, Darren Vitamin. You know, hey, give us your breakdown. Like we say, when you put brothers and sisters, call them out, they don't put nothing on there, man. It says in Enoch US in 32:30, he called the place penal. Yeah. Is it possible that he's speaking of the penal gland? Yes. Something that we have that other nations don't have. I know Captain Maccabees always bring it up on that movie with Django, how they were studying the skulls of our people, and they knew that we had a certain place for that. You know, that spirit, that extra spiritual connection with the Most High that other nations don't. So yeah, it's also referring to it. Like we say, Darren Vitamin, we waiting for your breakdown. Put your breakdown. We'd love to see it in there. Like we say, crickets. Crickets, that's all we get. Let's go to the book of Nahum. They say any questions, put them in the chat. That's what we're here for. Any contention, because we know it's going to be different understandings. You know, a lot of times we want to see what brothers and sisters' minds at it as well. No, Haggai. Let's go back to the book of Haggai, chapter 1 and verse 4. This is the book of Haggai, chapter 1 and verse 4. Once again, you know, I like to ask questions myself. What captivity was Haggai in? What captivity, and what was the date of that captivity? Let me see if brothers and sisters are paying attention. Put it in the chat on Facebook. Put it in the chat on YouTube. Let me see what brothers and sisters got, man. Y'all ask us questions. You know, I want to see if brothers and sisters are retaining what the Most High God brings out in his word. Are you really going through the scriptures, reading these things, writing these information down as the prophets bring these things out, man? Remember, man, we take this Bible serious, man. A lot of times when you're up in the school, you was taking plenty of notes. You need to have even more respect for the Most High and seriousness when it comes to his word. So we expect brothers and sisters to take notes, have your Bibles highlighted. You know, we expect these things, man. This is the book of Haggai, chapter 1 and verse 4. Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your select houses, and this house lie waste? Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. And that's one thing that we must do in this walk. We have to consider our ways. We want to make sure that, guess what? Us putting in the work for the Most High far out seeds our work in our own personal work, man. That's right, truth and sincerity. You want to make sure that you're constantly putting the Most High God's work first, you know, and things to change. Lord's will, the Most High God bless us with even a bigger building. No, Brother Capone Yazaliah, that's right, the Persian. What year, Brother Capone Yazaliah? What year? You know, I expect you to be on that thing quick as hell. What year? Let's see if Bruce know the years. My sisters, where y'all at? Sister Day, you wrong, sis. Not the Babylonian captivity. You know, I'm going to get on you, sis, because I told y'all, write it in your Bible. It says, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Last name Jeep. I hate saying this, but y'all are just... Well, why would you say it then? You really want to say it. That's why you said it. As you know, you wicked as hell, man. You know? Now, how can we be niggas for trying to wake up and teach our people according to the Bible? This lets you know how evil people are in the world. And what we're doing is really right. That's all that is substantiate. You know, that's all that these things do. Okay. Yeah, what makes us niggas? Tell us. You know, we want to interact with these people, man, with these scoffers. What makes us niggas? Because we keep God's commandments. Because guess what? We're no longer being drug dealers, thugs, whoremongers, taking care of our children, taking care of our wives, working, providing. Man, you better get out of here talking about a Mormon Bible, man. Don't you know in the Mormon Bible they say that black skin is a curse? And it's not true. You know, you better get out of here with that nonsense. Shalom, shalom, Macy Apple, Enoch US. Regardless of our faith, each of us should open ourselves up to the tragedy of being. We should pick up our tragic burdens and crosses, diet, continually renew our souls, continue. That's exactly right. That's something that we got to do each day. Now, how can black be a curse when the Most High God is black? I mean, that makes no sense. When it talks about that, and even Christians don't even break that down right. They say that Ham was cursed, and it wasn't Ham. It was Canaan, you know. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Even with that, and we understand those are similitudes for those things in the Bible, black. But like we say, the Mormon Bible has nothing to do with the Bible. Yeah, you better write that down, sis, in Haggai. Write down Persian and Mede. Because even when you read up in 1 verse 1, it's literally telling you, Darius the king. Darius was a Mede. All praise, sis. Glad to see that. So, no, we see that the Most High God is black. The angels are black. Let's get that right quick. So we know that having black skin is not a curse. And our skin is not really black. It's just the terms that they say today. Our skin is really what? Different shades of brown. So we show you. All we're just going to do is read the Bible, man. Yeah, we ain't dealing with no Mormon Bible, man. Let me say, those things are just plagiarisms of the Bibles. Those are just white man's religions. By Joseph Smith, he had a dream. I'm talking about, man, Mormon has to be one of the worst religions out there, man. I'm talking about bugged out. Supposedly he had a dream on a certain planet called something, man. It's just bugged out, man. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. So this scripture is calling the Most High God, which is referred to as the Ancient of Days, as having pure wool. So we see these things. It says, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. So we see that in the book of Daniel. Let's get more. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 26. Showing you color of the Most High. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 26. And above the firmament that was above their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man upon it. So Ezekiel is seeing a vision of the Most High God in the third heaven, sitting on this throne. Shalom, shalom, brother Dexter. Dexter, how you doing now? Verse 27, I saw as the color of amber. Now, brothers and sisters, Google an amber stone. You will see that it's a brown colored stone. It says, and I saw the color of amber as the appearance of fire round about within it. From the appearance of his loins, meaning his legs, even upward. So his legs were brown. Guess what? His chest and his face was brown. And from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. Let's get more precepts. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 4, verse 2. These are precepts showing you what the Most High God looks like. You think that he wouldn't have it recorded in the Bible? Our people are playing. Well, now, Macy, Apple, when you refer to certain scriptures in the Bible, you see black is used as a term of mourning, you know. So I understand what Jeep was talking about in that aspect, but that other stuff that they're talking about is crap, you know. They don't know what the hell they're talking about on that, because we clearly see where the Most High God, Christ, the angels, all of them were men of color. A lot of times you ask Christians, they think that color is no Bible. Oh, I don't see color. You know, God doesn't have a color. Well, we literally just read what God looks like. God does have a color. The Most High God left us records so we can know what the false Christ looked like versus what the real Christ looked like. That's how we're able to identify that fake image of Jesus that all our people know that's in all these black churches. These things hanging up. The Jesus that our kids literally pray to, man. Now, we trying to get that image up out of the hearts and minds of our people, man. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 4 and verse 2. Give you more color scriptures on the Bible. And brothers need to precept these things. Sisters need to precept these things. Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 26 precepts with Revelation chapter 4 verse 2. This is the book of Revelation chapter 4 and verse 2. And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven. A lot of times when you see it's being talked about the Most High God, it's always referencing a throne. Because the Most High God always sits on his throne. It says, and immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat on was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. So now the Most High God is giving him other examples on how he looked. He's comparing his skin tone to a jasper and a sardine stone. So when you look these things up, get an image of what these things look like. They are brown colored stones. The image of the Most High God is in the Bible, people. But our people never pick up the Bible to literally read these things, man. So you don't know what they're in. Oh, yeah, you know we're going to deal with these scoffers, sis, according to the scriptures. They ain't got brothers and sisters in there too, turn their butts up. It says, y'all camps always use black into the ground to prove Israelites were black. That precept is, now it goes metaphorically, but remember, precepts are double to that which is, and I don't expect you to know that. You know, so a lot of times it is talking about conditions, but it's also talking about their color as well. You know, you don't understand the Bible, and I don't expect you to, Jeep. You know, I don't expect you to. Al Martinez. Yeah, exactly. He put it in 2 Nephi 5 and 21. For behold, they had hardened their hearts against him. They had hardened and become like unto flint. Wherefore they were white and exceedingly fair and delightsome. So, yeah, that's right. The Most High is a very dark-skinned man, because guess what? Christ is a very dark-skinned man. Let's read about it. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 1. This is John the Revelator revealing how Christ looks. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. Just jumping down. Verse 14. And it reads, his head and his hairs were white like wool. Now, Christians will say, no, it says white like wool. Now, we just read in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9, which they cannot get around, that the Most High God hair is wool. When you read in the book of John, chapter 14, verse 18, when Christ told Philip, hey, when he wanted to see the Father, he who has seen the Father has seen me. Meaning what? Christ looks like his Father. Meaning what? They have the same complexion and they have the same texture hair. So this is talking about Christ's hair. It's talking about his hair and the color as well. Verse 14 again from the top. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire, because Christ drank wine in moderation. It says, and his feet. And we know that, guess what? Verse 14 could not be talking about his head actually being white, because it literally just saying, and his feet like unto fine brass. I don't think you had a man walking around here, feet black as hell and face white like Casper the Friendly Ghost. I mean, come on, man. Now, we know people do have leprosy out here, but don't be a dummy, man. Come on. Stop playing the game. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they were burned in a furnace. So Christ was so dark, it looked like he was burned in a furnace. Yeah, that's another one, but I'm gonna tell you, they ain't doing you no justice. You know, you fight more on my cause for that. We know that and when he's using that, it's an aspect of their color. That's what it's talking about. And that's right. It's talking about the color, but it was an insult. I'm glad that Brother Yahwadah Bon Mosbit put that in there. That's right. That's exactly right. Glad Officer Yaakov put it in there. John 14:9. Camilla Cole, I saw a video years ago when a white child was near death and said Jesus was a N-word. His family was racist, of course, but he claimed to see a vision of him. I'm pretty sure he did. We know that that's in the scriptures. Then guess what? Most High God gonna be putting visions on a lot of people in these last days. Let's get there. Let's go to the book of Joel. Many people are gonna be dreaming dreams and seeing visions, man. It's the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. So that's nothing. We know that the Most High God is putting visions on everybody out here, man. They knowing as we continue to wake up who the real children of Israel is more and more. It's becoming more and more obvious, man. And they cannot hide these things. Shalom, shalom, Brother Ehud and family. How y'all doing? I know we just saw each other, but you already know. So we constantly see these things, man. Let me go back up. Make sure I didn't miss anything. So we see these things. Yeah, bring it out. Bring all your questions that you want, man. That's what we're here for. That's what we say, Q&A. Like we say, contention questions, anything, man, or just regular questions that brothers and sisters may lack the understanding of. Hey, that's right. Sister Scoffers let us know the Most High is in this live. That's exactly right, man. You know, that's exactly right, sis. Yeah, so put your question in while we go back to the book of Haggai. That's exactly right. That's a great point, Brother Martinez. Like you said, black goes into the ground. It says black unto the ground goes back into Adam being formed from the dust. That's exactly right, Doc. You know, and he put in there Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. I mean, come on, man. Shalom, shalom, Mama Mariah. How you doing, sis? How you doing, sis? Let's go back to Haggai. Because we want to talk about building your house up. Like we say on the grander scale, you know, he's talking about the building, hence the lesson. But hey, it's also talking about your body as well. Constantly building your body up, man. To guess what? To be on a good foundation when it comes to this truth. This is the book of Haggai, chapter 1 and verse 5. Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. So the Most High God is saying, since you're worried about yourself, guess what? I'm going to make your things less. Since you're worried about yourself and you're not worried about building up my house, guess what? The more you're going to have to work. It says the more money that you make, why do you think it's the more money Esau take? The Most High God said he's literally got holes in people's pockets. So when they thinking they finna get that fat check from Friday or Thursday, guess what? Coming Monday, you don't know where the hell it done went to. That's the judgments that the Most High God put on our people, man. Just imagine you got that brother that's been selling drugs in the hood for 10 years and still ain't accomplished $100,000. Just think about these things, man. That's why he's steady doing these things. Brothers should have to be able to do that for a few years to get out the game. I mean, we see that constantly, man, because the Most High God is steady putting holes in brothers and sisters' pocket because they would not putting him first. This is a cold scripture. Book of Haggai, chapter 1 and verse 6. Ye have so much, meaning our people work and they work many hours. So where are the spoils of your labor? Where are those things at? Where are the fruits of your labor? Salaki. It says, ye have sown much and bring in little. Meaning all those hours that you work, you still not bringing in nothing, man. It says, ye eat. Meaning what? We barely having enough food. It says, ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe thee, but there is none worn. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Verse 7, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Most High God is telling us when these judgments comes on us, we must do what? Consider our ways. Am I putting in enough work in this truth? Am I more about my personal business than the Most High God's business? Brothers and sisters must consider these things when it comes to the building of the Most High God's house. You must consider these things, man. Yeah, go ahead, Tashak. Why don't you put your question in there? So we see these things, man. Haggai is a great book to read, man. I'm going to keep reading. Verse 8. Go up to the mountains and bring wood and build the house, and I would take pleasure in it. Say, that thing getting brothers excited, man. I ain't gonna even lie, man. That thing sent chills down my spine and my spirit, man. I'm gonna read verse 8 again. It says, go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house. Meaning what? Brothers and sisters, bring things to beautify the building, man. Like we said, we need paint. We need things to do the floor, sheetrock. Guess what? We got to bring these things. This is what the Most High God was telling the prophets to tell the people. Hey, bring these things back. Like you said, like how y'all built my temple during the time of King Solomon. Remember, the temple was built twice. It was built in what? During the time of King Solomon, and it was destroyed in 586 BC by the Babylonians. Then it was rebuilt during the time of the Persian and Medes. Then it got destroyed again in 70 AD by the Romans. So even right now, like we said, on a spiritual level, what are we doing in these last days? We're building our temples, man. Trying to what? Beautify our bodies. Put on glorious garments. Meaning what? The commandments. These are all similitudes for that. Verse 8, go up to the mountains and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith the Lord. Ye look for much, and lo, it came to little. Meaning what? You looking for that big paycheck at the end, man, because you don't work 60, 70, 80 hours at the end of the week. Let's see what the Most High God said. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Meaning what? At the end of the week, from all those hours, now Esau taking the taxes out, you got bills that you got that you didn't account for. The Most High God gonna blow that money right out your hand, right out your pocket. Most High is no joke, especially for you brothers and sisters that idolize money, thinking that money is going to solve everything. Money solves a lot of problems, but it can't solve everything, brothers and sisters. So the Most High God knows what is dear to you, and that's the thing that he could touch the most. He says, ye look for much, and lo, when it came to little, and when you brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why, saith the Lord of hosts? Because of mine house that is waste. So the Most High God is letting us know why you don't have that money that you think you should have after working all those hours. Because guess what? His house is laying waste. You're not building up your temple. You're not taking this truth serious. You're not coming to the new moons. You're not coming to Sabbath class. You're not wearing your fringes. You're not trying to, guess what, stay away from your old wicked friends and family members. Most High God is no joke. Yahweh done bond Master. Do you guys keep the new moon Sabbaths or Friday, Saturdays? Yeah, most definitely. Capt Jerubbaal put that Matthew 6 and 19. You know we got to get that thing, man. Yeah, we keep the new moon Sabbaths. Clarify, what do you mean? From Friday sundown to Saturday sundown? We keep it from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. And we know some brothers and sisters do the lunar Sabbath, but we don't do that. Preferably because of Genesis. We see where the Most High God made the moon on the 4th day and still had a Sabbath 3 days later. I can understand, brothers will have a point if the Most High God had made the moon on the 1st day. I could see brother's point. So kind of clarify for me while we get Captain Jerubbaal precept. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 19. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. So we see these things. That's a great precept Cap put up in there. And we say a lot of times brothers and sisters do these things to lay up treasures. When the Most High God send those nuclear bombs, all of that money in the bank, that stuff is going to burn, man. They're going to shut these debit cards off. They're going to shut these credit cards off. Guess what? The only thing that's going to help you survive in that day of the Lord is what? Your faith in Christ and you keeping the commandments, man. That's it, man. Yeah, I thought you was talking about the lunar Sabbath. Nah, we don't go by the lunar Sabbath, because like I just explained in Genesis, brothers would have a point if the Most High God hadn't made the moon on the 1st day. So, you know, we don't see that point. Let me keep reading though. Verse 20. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So that's a great precept that Cap put up in there. You know, hey, where your treasure is, that's where your heart gonna lay. You know, brothers' treasures and sisters' treasures need to be what? Building up their spiritual temple and doing the work in this truth, man. That's what these things are all about. Shalom, shalom, brother Jasmine Warren. Brothers and sisters that's tuning in on Facebook. Now, brother Al Martinez put in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5, verse 10. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This is also vanity. That's a great precept. It's like we say, money can only go so far, man. I want the precept. It says, what is money going to profit in the day of evil? Let's see if brothers can find that precept. Riches won't profit in the day of evil. Meaning what? The Most High God is not going to give a damn about how much money you have when Christ come and knock at your door. He ain't going to give a damn. There's no amount of money that you could give to Christ to, guess what? Spare your life. Especially for you brothers and sisters that's that know about the truth and that's turning, backsliding, and so forth. For you Israelites and for you ones that's not keeping the commandments, man. Let's go to 1 Timothy. So it's judgment. It's no amount of money that brothers and sisters can have in these days to buy your way into the kingdom of heaven, man. Like we said, the Most High God said, this truth is bought without money, man. This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10. And it reads, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Meaning it's not a sin to have money. The sin comes in when you what? When you love money over the Most High. Is that the precept? Sister Mary, here's Brother Daniel. Let me get there right quick. After this. Verse 10, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So we see these things, man. Hey, a lot of times they thinking bank accounts is going to save them. These things will not, man. They won't. See what sister got. Then I'm going to get you guys a life. Bro, you say, you know, you got to keep saying I ain't seen you in a while. No Bruce Show got to come to the new building. Get my other See if that's the precept that I was looking for. Let me put in there, Sister James 5, 1 and 3. Yeah, that's a good precept. This is the book of James, chapter 5, and verse 1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl, for your miseries shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, meaning what? Those things are not going to profit you in these last days, man. And the rust of them shall be a witness against you. And ye shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers, who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, cry, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabbath. So the Most High God saying is the Lord of Sabbath is going into Christ, meaning Lord of armies. This is another title of Christ. So he's seeing these things. You're not going to be able to buy your way in these days, man. He said that money is cankered, man. That money is rusted. That money is no good to be able to, guess what, buy your way into the kingdom of heaven, man. Let's see what I got. Let's go to that Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 18. Let's see what I got. If that's what I'm looking for. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1 and verse 18. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. That's a great precept. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all of them that dwell in the land. That's a great precept. Like we say, brothers is not going to be able to buy their way into the truth, into the kingdom. Sisters are not going to be able to buy their way. You're going to be able to bat your eyelashes at Christ. You're going to be able to shake your hips at Christ. Hey, Christ, look at my butt. Let my butt make it, allow me to get into the kingdom. No. None of those things are going to, guess what, allow you to make it to the kingdom, man. Only you what? Keeping the commandments. Having faith in Christ. That's your ticket to get in, man. It said, weed and wine. Weed and wine, why would you put something up there? I hope you don't be smoking weed. Do you be smoking, brother? Because why would you put something up there like that, brother? You know, we're going to get on you, man. Weed and wine, it says they be haters for real. May cause they going to hell. What you mean, weed and wine. You don't be smoking that weed, do you? Do you? Because you know we're going to get on you. Gabar Banyamin, Yasharala, Shalom, Shalom. We're going to get on you up in here. Brother, put that damn weed down, brother. I'm telling you, man. When Christ come back, he going to make you eat that blunt with the fire too, brother. It's going to burn your insides up, brother. Put that weed down, brother. Let's get some precepts for this, brother, man. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon. Put it down, brother. We used to smoke weed too. But guess what? That's sin according to the Bible, brother. You think any one of the prophets, you think Christ smoked weed? Put that thing down, brother. I promise you, he's going to make you eat that thing, man. Like I said, with the fire and all, man. Put that weed down, brother. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon. These are precepts for you, weed. Weed and wine. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16 and verse 12. For it was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health, but thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things. So a lot of times our people think that the weed helps them get through the day. No. Most High God is letting us know it's his word that nourishes us, that helps us. Yeah, you better put it down. Crazy. Yeah, you really gonna see some red eyes in that day. You playing. You know, I know we may joke, but this is serious business too, brother weed and wine. It's gonna be a dreadful day when Christ come back and you're not able to shake that weed smoking out. You better shake that thing out. That's right. You know we finna go there next, brother Al Martinez. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Put that thing up. I don't give a damn. You shouldn't smoke no day, brother. Put it up, because I'm going to tell you, a lot of times brothers think that it's hard to do, but it's not. You have to really have and pray for the fear of the Most High. Like if I don't put this blunt down, He gonna snatch a lung out of my chest, man. You got many brothers that can attest to those things, man. That's what we on here. We testifying the brothers, giving brothers our experience with that. He could give you lung cancer, you know, he can give y'all different type of throat cancers. You know, this is no joke. You can put it down, man. You see many brothers that smoke weed. But now, hey, should we get high off the Most High and keeping his commandments, Hey, you can think that. I'm going to tell you, God is not mocked, He ain't mocked, man. So what you sowing, you going to reap that thing, brother. Guaranteed, man. So you can play with this truth if you want to. If you caught smoking in that day, it's going to be a terrible day for you, brother. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. So you're defiling your temple by what? Putting all that weed smoke up in your body. And it's a judgment for those things, where it comes in the form of health, whether it comes in the form of financial gains. Most time God can jack you up. Yeah, we not right the Bible right, brother. You know what I'm saying? We just want you to shake it. You can shake it, brother. Get to where you what? Not smoking no days, brother. I'm going to tell you, can't be making provisions for the flesh. If you serious about this truth, delete that weed man number out of your phone. You see how serious you are. Delete that weed man number out of your phone. That'll start you out on the right foot. I guarantee it will, man. This is the book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 14. And it reads, but put ye on the Lord Yahushua Christ. So instead of putting on that weed or smoking the weed, guess what? Go through the scriptures. When you have that urge, that's what the scriptures are for. For you to go through the scriptures, literally go and meditate on these things that you are reading. Watch a video. We have videos about smoking weed. We'll do more. Like we say, these are some topics that we bring up, even like what Captain was saying. Like we say, a lot of times we can get subjects and topics off of the questions that we may get. So another class that a brother can go into about what? Not smoking weed. I'm going to read it again from the top. This is the book of Romans chapter 13, verse 14. But put ye on the Lord Yahushua Christ, and make not provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Meaning what? When you're making provisions for the flesh, you're making a way to commit sin. So to stop that, guess what? Delete that weed man number out your phone. It's another great precept. Brother Daniel, Sister Mary used to put in there 1 Corinthians 6 and 19. You know, and 20. Brother Al Martinez, Isaiah 1 and 16. Wash ye, make ye clean. Put away the evil of your doings before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Smoking weed is doing evil, brother. Like we say, a lot of times when brothers and sisters do that, get in that high state, you're invoking spirits to come and guess what? Deal with you wickedly, man. Why do you think you see brothers on PCP or what our people call water today, running around butt naked? Those are literally demons that are on those brothers and sisters that do that, man. It literally took them into the what? Into the third or the fifth dimension, man. They don't know where the hell they at, man. A lot of times, like you say, you can get a hold to some bad weed. This stuff is no joke. Yeah, lusting, but guess what? Lusting don't necessarily mean sex, brother. Lust goes into many different situations. You can have a lust for money. You can have a lust for hatred. It ain't always just sexual. That's why it's very important. You know what I'm saying? That you get in there. I mean, Vincent Garson, we don't give a damn about you being white. What that mean? Well, why you say that like that was... Why would you just say that, man? We don't give a damn. Hey, people have lighter skin all the time. What's your father? Is your father a so-called Caucasian? If he is, you will be an Edomite according to the Bible. If not, hey, you may be one of the 12 tribes. But Darren Vitamin, what about weed and ingesting that? And that's just what a wicked person would do. We telling you not to smoke the weed, but the devil, like Darren Vitamin, come in here and try to, guess what, make provisions to get you to keep doing the thing. You can clearly see good and evil, man. We're literally going to the scriptures showing you that you shouldn't do none of those things. Let's get more precepts. Because guess what? Even if you eat weed, are you sober? I mean, that makes no damn sense. You're not sober even if you eat weed. I mean, that's wicked as hell. Let's go to First Peter's, man. See what the scriptures say. This is the book of First Peter, chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because of your adversary, the devil. And we have an adversary on here. It says, as a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So we see that. We're literally on her giving you precepts, brother, to show you shouldn't be doing it, but the devil will tell you you can do it. Just eat it. It'll be all right. No. We don't give a damn what you do, Darren Biden. I hope you judo on her. But I got a feeling, like we say, my Israelite senses kind of tell me you may be Esau. Yeah, Vincent Garson, I mean, okay, you like black people. We're not black people, we Israelites, man. Shalom, shalom, BM, Brazil de Yahawashai. Yeah, I know. We let brothers and sisters roast us behind, too. No, we don't give a damn. It's not a problem with us. Esau come on here and watch all he want to. It's not for them. You know what I'm saying? But y'all can watch all y'all want to. Because guess what? When we prophesy this, we prophesy to y'all as well, man. Then y'all know y'all future destruction. You know, I mean, it is what it is. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28, verse 8. And say, you got any questions? Hey, we'll answer those as well. We take all questions from all skin colors, from all nations. We don't give a damn, but we out here to do what? To teach our people. My main focus, my only focus is my people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which are the Israelites according to the Bible. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28 and verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So when we out there teaching, our main focus is our people, but guess what? We prophesy to the other nations too. Because guess what? The Most High God is giving us to give y'all warning too, even though we know y'all not going to believe it. So, yeah, you can stay in there all you want. So Darren Biden, my husband is Jamaican and my father is Jamaican too. How am I Edomite? Well, if that's the case, I apologize. Now, I say that because guess what? You're bearing the fruits of an Edomite. That's the point. Like you're bearing the fruit. You're telling people going against what the Bible is saying. Weed and wine, they can't smoke weed. No, you shouldn't smoke weed. You shouldn't smoke weed at all. Military have a drug test. Brother, you shouldn't be smoking it anyway. Now, guess what? No, you shouldn't. Most High God made medicine to shock a killer, brother. He made medicine. Let's get there. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 38. He made medicine, but he didn't make medicine for us to get high off of. It's the difference between you're trying to heal yourself and you just want a quick high. That's a total difference, man. The brothers and sisters know that. You know what weed do. I'm going to tell you, weed puts tar on your lungs. A lot of times it can cause you to have gum disease. It can cause you to have throat cancer. It can kill your short-term memory losses. You know, it can destroy these things. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 38, in verse 4. The Lord had created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise would not abhor them. So God created medicines. You know, we know that we got to go to our enemies to get these medicines, but he created them. It says, let me see, what do I want? Let me see. So he's giving examples. Verse 5, was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? And he had given men skill that they might be honored in his marvelous works. It says, with such doth he heal men and taketh away their pains. Of such doth the apothecary make a confection. From him is peace all over the earth. So we see where the Most High God made medicines out of the earth. So like we say, if you're smart, if you're wise, you won't hate these things. says, Vince Sartero, you guys are considered Hamites according to the Holy Bible and Quran. Well, I asked you that, even like Captain Jerubbaal would say, show us in the Bible where Hamites will be out there on the blocks teaching people the Bible. You know, just because we have brown skin doesn't mean that we're the same race of people. Remember, all races have brown skin except for the Caucasians. You know, they was the only nation that God created that didn't have melanin in their skin. So, I mean, show us a scripture in the Bible that says Africans would be out there on the streets teaching people the Bible. You won't get that. That's how we know you're a liar. 38 and verse 4. You get that out? Tajaka O'Kelly. 38 and verse 4 out. Benaniyah, is it a sin to serve men in the army? Now, let's get that. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra. Now, while we were in our captivity, you had brothers. Jerubbaal, he was basically in the Persian army. You know, he was basically what you would call a secret service for the king's body. For the king. He was the one that guarded the king's body. Let's see if we can find that real quick. So, now we would tell brothers and sisters, we understand, like, if you've been in the army and you came into the truth and you already just in the army. Now, we tell brothers and sisters, hey, you don't sign back up for that, man. Don't re-enlist in the army, man, because you know, guess what? Christ is coming back and you'll be forced to do what? Fight against him. So you want to make sure that you're making good decisions. But we'll show you that people did what? They served in the army, even like who? Cornelius was in the Italian band. Let's get 1st Ezra, though. This is the book of 1st Ezra, chapter 1. No, 1st Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 3 and verse 4. Write this down, Benaniyah. This is the book of 1st Ezra, chapter 3 and verse 4. Then 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spake one to another. So we see Jerubbaal was what we would call today a secret service, a person that keeps the king's body, meaning you're guarding the king. So we see that even he was in the army. Let's go to Acts chapter 10. Showing you another brother that was an Israelite that was in the army. But like I said, we understand his brothers was already in the army before they was woken up to the truth. This is the book of Acts chapter 10 and verse 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band. So we see even Cornelius. Caesarea is a city in Israel, northern Israel. No, weed and wine. It says weed heals the depressions. Doctors can give a subscription. No, it doesn't heal that. We literally just read that what? You may think that it solves you for a while, but remember, medicine that we had literally cured our people that you wouldn't have to take it anymore. If that's the case, why do you have to keep smoking weed? So you got this problem continually? No. You have made yourself self-sufficient on those things, weed and wine. That's all that is, man. So we literally just read in the book of Wisdom of Solomon 16 and verse 12 showing you that, guess what? That's not the case. Let's get another precept for you. I hope you're writing these things down too. Let's go to Psalms 103. No, 107, Salaki. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 107 and verse 20. He sent his word and healed them and delivered them from their destruction. So the word of the Most High God is what really heals us, man. Not weed, brother. Opios or herbs. Vince Sartero now prove that we come from Africa. Just because they got us out of the west coast of Africa don't mean that we're originally from Africa. Just because we have brown skin doesn't mean that we're from Africa, Vince. And if you don't believe it, I mean, we don't care. We kind of kick rocks, you know. But we're going to prove to you that the Negroes that's over here in America, like we say, we're not just going to say things. We're going to literally go to historical books. Like we say, This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. This is written by one of Rupert Murdoch's, you know, the man that owns Fox News. They're the publisher of these books, man. Let's see what it says about the Negroes over here. Let's go to Ham in the Bible, man. Let's see if we're Africans according to what you say. Let's see what the Bible says. See, we studying the Bible, we're studying other books, and we filter these things through the Bible that gives our people more and more understanding. Let's see if this Vince brother know what he's talking about. This is the definition of Ham. Page 213 out of the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races. So Ham is the father of the dark races. Let's see, because there's many dark races on the planet Earth. It says, not the Negroes. So he's the progenitor of the dark races, but Ham, Africans, real Africans, are not our forefathers. It says, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians. Egyptians are Africans. Ethiopians, they are Africans. Libyans are Africans and Canaanites. But the so-called Negroes here in America, we are not Africans, we're not Hamites, we're not Hamitic, we are Shemitic. So yeah, you're wrong. Yeah. We were called African Americans by slave masters, you know, but that's not us. Yeah, none of that stuff. Exactly. No edibles, no none of that stuff. Kick that stuff, man. Macy Apple. Genesis chapter 10, verse 6, there's a difference. Yeah, no. I just literally read in the scriptures that he was from Israel. So he was an Israelite. Now, Vince, you sound stupid. Now you finna get cut up. He said olive skin. So olives come in 2 colors. You got green and you got black. So I don't see green men walking around here. So that just cut your behind up, dummy. They come in 2 colors. Google these things, man. That was dumb as hell. That's right. Exodus chapter 11, verse 7. They might become snakes to the army. Yeah, I don't know if y'all got your own private conversation going on. Says, we the one, would you prefer to smoke, drink, and good herbs, then take this medication? No, we don't, none of that stuff. Like we say, you got medicine, then you got drugs, you know. Want to make sure that brothers and sisters know the difference, man. Shalom, Brother Allen, how you doing? Was an herb found in the Temple Mount? No, hell nah. And if it was from some wicked Israelites, because the Bible clearly speaks against defiling your temple. So I'm trying to make excuses. You was just doing pretty good, Tasaka Old Kelly. You must be smoking that weed too or something. Hey, that's fine. If you don't take medication, hey, it's all right. But the Bible clearly say Most High God made medicine out of the earth. Some people need medicine. So if you wise, you're not going to hate it. And if you don't want to take medicine, hey, that's on you. Vince Arturo, Root chapter 3, verse 6 proves that men can't have more than one woman. Well, now in the law, the first 5 books of Moses, we literally see that guess what? Men can have multiple wives. So either you believe what the Bible says, you don't. Now, like how we teach brothers at Battle Axes, sisters at Battle Axes, we don't think that it's expedient for brothers to have multiple wives, meaning what? The right time in this captivity. Now, it's hard just to provide for one wife, let alone multiple wives. So yeah, that's you striking out again, Vince. I see you ain't have no rebuttal to what we just brought out about Negroes not being Africans. They say must have shut his butt down, man. But yeah, you see where Abraham had multiple wives. You see where Jacob had multiple wives. And these were righteous men. So yeah, you're incorrect. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21 and verse 15. If a man have 2 wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have him born and have born him children, it says both the beloved and the hated. If the firstborn son be heirs that was hated. So now the Most High God is showing you that if you do have multiple wives, on how to handle this particular situation. If you have multiple wives, you got a wife that you love and a wife that you hate, you can neglect the firstborn son because you don't like the mother. You know, and that's what this is going into. But we teach our brothers that, hey, it's not the right time for all that. I'll pray to keep taking notes. Yeah, that's right. Green or black. It's crazy, ain't it, Brother Al Martinez? Olives come in two colors, man. Brother, hey, you smoke some poison ivy if you want to, brother. You probably won't talk again, brother. Stop being simple, brother. You shouldn't smoke now, nothing. You shouldn't smoke no cigarettes, no Black and Milds. Shouldn't be drinking to get drunk. You shouldn't smoke none of those things, man. Vince, you even dumber than I thought, man. That's crazy. He said green is closer to Greek white. Our boys say, you need to be on that one show, man. Children say the darndest things, man. That was dumb as hell. Says, just like ruddy means pinker. If you say so. We don't see that in the Bible, though. Man. Says, Jerome Porter, the Chinese, the Japanese, and the Koreans all look alike, but they are not the same. That's right. You know, that's a perfect example. They look similar, but they're not the same races of people. No, now the thing is, it was supposed to be for medicine, but people done transformed it into getting high. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Like I said, when you have the weed, you take out the THC, what makes you get high. You know, you don't smoke weed to get high. It was used as a medicine, but Esau, other nations, people have abused those things, man. Now, like we say, I know the brother asks, weed and wine. Why would God make weed for nothing? Remember, he made iron. He made all these different things, but guess what? You have the so-called white man taking that iron and turning that technology into weapons. So you got evil intentions from people, man, all the time. So that's not an excuse. You can take anything good that the Most High God made and make it bad. Just because you can don't mean that you should. That's the understanding, brother. Yeah, it is. Now, we know that the medicine that the Most High God made comes from the trees, but we know Esau has taken over those things. Yeah, they is. You know they be out tonight. You damn sure right, sis. And weed and wine keep sinning willfully and suffer the consequence. That's exactly right, brother. You ride 12 stones. Macy Apples. We see how polygamy worked out. What do you mean by that, sis? I mean, in situations it worked out good. You know, if sisters were in order and if the brothers were in order, it worked out good. But like we say, during this time, brothers and sisters really have to be in the spirit. Like we say, it's in the Bible. You know, it's no denying it's in the Bible, but like we say, we don't feel it's expedient for brothers to do. All things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. So. Oh, yeah. I think he understood what you were saying, Brother Al Martinez. And you telling him right. You know, there's no disrespect. You just telling the truth. Vince, I only believe the New Testament. The Old Testament has been done away with. So according to Yahushua, we are saved. That's it. That's simple. I mean, what scripture tell you not to? Even Christ. Now, if you believe Christ, let's see what Christ say. See, people believe Christ until we start to read the words of Christ. Let's see what Christ said. Because when Christ walked the earth, was the New Testament written? Christ was doing what? Quoting everything from the Old Testament. And we'll prove that. Let's go to the book of John. This is the book of John, chapter 5 and verse 45. Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. There is one that accuseth you, even Moses, in whom ye trust. For had ye believed Moses' Old Testament, ye would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? So that's straight cut, Vince. Christ is literally telling you, if you don't believe the Old Testament, you don't believe in him. So, I mean, that's straight cut to the point, man. That's exactly right. He came to fulfill the law. When it talks about fulfill, meaning what? Fulfill all the prophecies that was written about Christ. That's what it's talking about. Not that he came to do away with those things. Let's prove that furthermore. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 24 and verse 44. So you want to make sure that you always have these precepts lined up to give understanding, because we see what Vince say. What do you say about that precept, Vince, in the book of John, chapter 5, verse 45? You say he got crickets. It's the book of John, chapter 24 and verse 44. And he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses, and in the prophets, and in the Psalms concerning me. The things that were concerning Christ was the sufferings that he took for the nation of Israel, man. And that's just plain. I know Ricardo Valadez said I look like Mike Tyson. You know, hey, all praise, he Judah. I mean, he Israelite, so hey. You know, I'm not on here trying to look cute. I have a beautiful wife, so who cares, Ricardo? Al Martinez, Vince. That's right. Think not, meaning don't even put it in your head to think that Christ came to do away with the law or the prophets. He has not come to destroy but to fulfill. And we show you what he fulfilled, the sufferings of him. We family, your wisdom, build my temples, blessings. It's not all praise. That's what it's all about, building. They're inviting them. You don't believe in the Old Testament. Wow, yeah, it is a wow. That's the first smart thing you done said tonight, Darren Vitamin. That's why I don't believe the new. Get that. Damn it. I'm telling you, you can't give nobody a compliment. I give them a compliment, then they 2 questions later, you say something even dumber. Say, I'll take it back, Darren Vitamin. Sister, I'll take that thing back. It's dumb as hell. Darren Vitamin. That's why I don't believe the New Testament. You guys just forgot all about the Old Testament, the foundation, the only testament. That's dumb as hell. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, Vince and Darren, both of y'all be quiet, because both of y'all saying some dumb stuff. You got to believe the Old and the New Testament. We literally just gave you a precept in the New Testament. Now, let's go to the book of Psalms to give you one, Darren, in the Old Testament. Christ come in the volume of the book, man. You can get and read one half of the book and think you don't understand it. That's ludicrous, man. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 40 and verse 7. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. Now, who is this talking about? This is talking about a Psalm of David speaking prophetically about Christ. That's what these things are talking about, man. This is Christ coming in the volume of the book. You can read about Christ in Genesis. You can read about Christ in Exodus. You can read about Christ in Leviticus. You can read about Christ in Numbers. You can read about Christ in Deuteronomy, Hosea, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. You can read in Christ about all these things in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. I mean, he's throughout the scriptures, man. Our people got to stop rejecting either the Old Testament or the New Testament, man. Now let's get it to where it was said in the New Testament. Let's go to the book of Hebrews. Let's say he comes in the volume of the book, brothers and sisters, man. I mean, it's simple. A lot of times, that's why we see our brothers and sisters bugged out, like we went into last week. The Bible is simple, but a lot of times people make the Bible, make it hard. That's why the Most High God is jacking brothers and sisters up, man. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, and verse Oh, 10, Salaki. Jump the gun. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 7. Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me to do thy will, O God. The volume meaning anything between Genesis and Revelations. That's the volume. No, Vince saying, ain't no use reading the Old Testament. I mean, hey, if you feel that way, I knew you didn't believe Christ. We literally just said, Christ said, if you didn't believe the Old Testament, you don't believe on him. Because it's what? The Old Testament is written of Christ. So, we can understand why you have that mindset, man. It just makes no sense to only read one part of the book. That makes no sense. Makes the apple. People have their own agendas. The reason they reject one or the other. And that's exactly right. A lot of times you see brothers and sisters have agendas. The agenda being Christianity that they're trying to push, religion, trying to get brothers and sisters to, guess what, be carried away by different doctrines, trying to bring confusion. We see these things constantly, man. We got yeah, that's a great point, Sister Macy Apple. There's no way you could have read the entire Bible and only believe one for real. Nah, I doubt that, Vince. You probably ain't much better in nothing. I don't know in nothing, especially when it comes to the Bible. Uriah 12 stones, Psalms 111 and 10. That's a cut right there. You know we can go deep on this, brother, man. We ain't gonna waste the time. Yes, we will. Yeah, you know we love going to the scripture. I'm glad you pulled it. Yeah, we know, Vince. You superior. Yeah, we know. Superior dummy. This is the book of Psalms 110 and verse 1. The book of Psalms, chapter 110 and verse 1. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. So this is the Most High. Hey, prophesied through David about Christ. I'm going to read it again. The Lord said unto my Lord. This is the Most High speaking to Christ, giving him a command, giving him a order. And he put it on David's spirit to do what? Write these things down. Who is David's Lord? David's Lord is Christ. That's why Christ made reference to these things when you read in the book of Acts. I mean, in the books of Matthew. We see, who is your people, Vince? What, you an Edomite or something? I mean, if you're not an Israelite, I mean, you pretty much out of luck because the Most High God Israelites are above all nations. I don't see where you're going with that. You sure can't be that by not reading the Old Testament. I mean, even my son know to read a whole book. I ain't too superior on that, man. I just got to be honest with you. That's not too superior. Let's get that. John. Any questions? Any other questions before we get up out of here? Let's say we give all honor and praises to the Most High. Let me see. Is that what we want? Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 42. It reads, saying, what think ye of Christ? Whose son is he? They say unto him, the son of David. He said unto them, how then doth David in spirit call him Lord? So we see, even the scribes and the Pharisees knew to an extent that Christ was being prophesied in the Old Testament by David. They wanted to know these things. It says, and this is what Christ is going over. He's literally cutting them up with scripture, Salaki. It says, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand, till I make thine enemies thy footstool. If David then call him Lord, how is he his son? So this is Christ being clever with the scriptures, man. I mean, Christ is the master teacher. They didn't even know what the hell was going on, even though it was prophesied in the book of Psalms. They didn't know what was going on. It says when you look up the word Lord in the concordance, you see that that word Lord means Adonai, not Elohim. Now, like how we tell people, all the time in concordances, blue letters, a lot of times they have fallacies, meaning what they have errors. Meaning they are not always translated right. So, prime example, we see that the blue letter talks about the Trinity when the Bible does not subscribe to that. You know, there's other things that they go off on too. So you got to go by the context of the scriptures. That's exactly right, Brother Al Martinez. The other nations are counted to him less than nothing. With a worldly joy, I'm from a special cloud, no disrespect, but yeah, you don't want to get into all that, brother. It's like he's just giving you precepts to try to build you up, brother. That's how you take it. Brother Dexter, y'all something. Yeah, they is, man. They do be in this chat tripping, man. Hey, that's a great point, sis. I mean, say the family be a trip over here too. Say, how can y'all be superior when the son out there tearing y'all behinds up, man? I'm talking about literally, man. Y'all especially if you stay in Texas, man. I don't know. Edomites literally can't come out and play until about 8 o'clock like vampires, man. Like, come on, man. Yeah, it is a trip. Like we say, we always. Any more questions before we get up out of here? Make sure brothers and sisters go over those precepts. Like I say, we love the questions. Give us feedback. You know, lines are open to brothers and sisters that genuinely have questions. You know, like, share the video. We see 30, 40 something people up in the class. We want to see 30, 40 something likes, 30, 40 something shares. We ain't talking about you scoffers, man. Y'all can kick rocks or something, man. Now, if y'all are brothers and sisters, we love y'all. We pray y'all repent. But, hey, y'all better get right before Christ is. You know. Yes, Esau is all red. There's nobody on the planet Earth that's white. Sydney Thurston, do you have a precept pack? We did have one, Brother Sydney. We did have one. I have to try to find that for you. And we could definitely try to get you one with, like, basic precepts. Now, those are just basic precepts that you can add more and more to as you get your level of understanding as it grows, you know. But we did have one. I'll try to find one for you. I will post it, folks. Civil War, real talk, all praise up. Most definitely. You know, we want to get this word out, most importantly, to reach our people, you know. Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime for our brothers and sisters. Yeah, we most definitely get one to you too, sis. We certain milk precepts that brothers and sisters should know. Brother Al Martinez, when you gonna come visit us? You know, we kind of want to see you, man. We putting some good precepts in there. Yeah, that's what it's for, Brother Sazako Kelly. To help build brothers up, man. Yeah, most definitely. I know we're trying to find that. We had like basic precepts that we put on there for brothers and sisters to kind of study. You know, all praises, Mary Al. You know, all praise to the Most High. But like we always tell brothers and sisters, donate. Like we said, we got a new building, so we definitely need the help. Have our cash app. Help us out. Hopefully soon, You stay in the Texas area, The Lord, shalom, shalom. Brothers that's just now tuning in on Facebook. You stay in the Texas area, You know. Yeah, we'd love to have you come down, yeah, help donate to the cause, help us push this truth, you know. Like during the summertime, we try to take visits around to brothers and sisters, so we definitely want to get to some spots, Lord's will, you know. Oh, brother stay in California. Ooh, I know Brother Roxazine from Believers of the Way, Ox came down here and fellowship with us, man, for a weekend, so, you know, all praises. I know it's just not a hop, skip, and a jump, though, you know. Yeah, I know my wife was telling me that, sis. Lord's will, you and Brother Daniel be down there. Hope to see y'all. Hope to show y'all the new building. We'll be in that thing next Sabbath, too. You know, so. Shalom, shalom. Says thankful for y'all too. We say help us push this truth, man. But yeah, damn it, James chapter 2, verse 1 through 2. But most definitely, like I said, brothers and sisters, make sure y'all study. Make sure y'all reading. I even talk about get on myself about these things. You know, working, you know, certain crazy hours. Yeah, you still have to put in the work for the Most High and read. I know, what was I say? Prayer, fasting, applying the commandments, seeking counsel. These are weapons that brothers and sisters can use to combat the spirits or the trials and tribulations that they fight. A lot of times when brothers and sisters are falling back from the truth, it's a breakdown of those four. Like I say, it's a breakdown always of those four. We always tell brothers and sisters to keep the commandments of the Most High. So, I'm bringing out a law. I know it, even Captain, Officer Yaakov, you know, I could brought this up last week when we was on the phone. This is the book of Exodus. I'm gonna start at verse 1. Going into stealing from your brothers. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 1. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. So it's showing you on how we deal righteously with one another, morally with one another. You know, if you're stealing from your brother or your sister, the Bible gives you, in this instance, specifics. But if you're stealing from your brother in these times, hey, you want to restore those things that you stole from your brother or your sister, man. There's no stealing amongst your brother, man. You know, even in this society, the scriptures tell you in the book of Romans to live peaceably with all men, to keep the laws of the land. So brothers and sisters want to make sure that they stay in the spirit with these things. It says, if a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. So it's even showing you see brothers coming into your house, breaking into your house, you have the right to defend yourself. This is basically what this is talking about. Now, even in today's time, you want to make sure that you are very smart about these things. Know the laws in which the state that you live in. You want to make sure that you have a good understanding about it, you know, before you take these things into your own hands, you know, because we hate to see brothers and sisters unjustly persecuted, you know. So, I say we give all honor and praise to the Most High and to His Son Yahweh Shah. Battle Axes of the Most High. Tuning out. And with that, we say shalom. Damn. Come on. I didn't? Oh, thanks, sis.